Hey Internet, it's us. So tonight we watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And now, I told you this before, but if you ever anytime you see a ranking of Freddy Krueger movies or just talk to people that are fans of Freddy, the first movie is always number one. That's everyone's favorite, because obviously. But number 2 and 3 is always either this movie or New Nightmare. So, expectations going into this should have been high. So what'd you think?
I get to go first. First off the bat, Kristen, the first scene when she first goes into the Krueger nightmare, and the carpet moves, and then that walls get ripped out behind her. Holy crap! I love that shot.
Yeah, isn't that an awesome shot?
I don't know how they did it. Unless they had wires going through the plaster, and it was separate from the lathe boards in the back, and they just kind of ripped it out really fast. It was just so cool to look at. And then the movie ended. Yeah, it's kind of a letdown.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was fine, but it was nowhere near as good as the first one, which was just a feast from start to finish, except for the ending.
Yeah.
But
I will say it's not as good as the first, but I feel like this was a lot more return to form, at least as far as some of the effects and the visuals.
yes, but it wasn't as much and as cool as the first one. They didn't do anything better other than that one scene I just mentioned.
Which we never mentioned, by the way, but actually
the TV thing was kind of cool.
The second movie had a really good scene, too, with the hellscape with the bus.
Yeah.
But, no, this one, I liked, like you said, the TV scene I thought was really cool. Plus, that's when we finally hear him do the, calling someone bitch, which Scary Terry then
was that the first time he did it in the 3 movies?
I think so. I'm thinking the first 2 he did, but here he's like, it's prime time, bitch, or I'm prime time, whatever he said. But then, yeah, I like the one with the stop-motion puppet that turns into him, and then he turns the guy into the puppet, and then you see him in the sky pulling the strings. That was really cool. I liked that.
It was okay. It didn't really hit home as much as anything in the first one did.
I felt like this had much better actors than the first one, too. Nancy was back. She's still good. And then Lawrence Fishburne, or Larry Fishburne, sorry. He was good. And the other black guy, whose name I read in the credits and then promptly forgot again. But,
John Cena.
I like him, too. He's good in his role. He's believable. He's funny.
There were no bad actors. I think they were just... It was not the best story. And, it was glanced over so quickly that, oh, you're all the children left over from the Elm Street parents.
Yeah. Also the dream power thing was a little silly, too. Also, why do people only have one power in their dream? Man, I've dreamt that I could fly. I've dreamt that I could talk to animals. I once dreamt that I met a person that could shapeshift into a dragon. I've had cool friggin' dreams. These people only have one dream where they can do one thing and that's it? I don't know. It's kind of lame as hell.
I've had flying powers in my dreams. I've never had any other things.
That's it? You've never had no other interesting... Really?
That's it.
Apparently it's just me then.
That is it.
Well, now I hope to face off against Freddy Krueger, because I'll kick his ass. I have all the powers. But, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely... I like a lot of the effects.
It's better than the second one.
It's way better than the second one. But I do feel like the story here is definitely not as good. It feels a lot more just contrived. The whole, buried him on hallowed ground thing, and then they would have been on hallowed ground. They just stuck him in the ground right in the car park where they found him.
I think that's why he had to do that.
And then he just happened to have the holy water, which, that's great.
He made a point to go get it.
They did, but it's still...
Which was funny. Keep my driver's license.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's still, It's not quite as good. Granted, the ending in the first movie was crap too.
Yes.
But, I don't know. This plot just didn't feel as good.
It wasn't.
I still like the movie. I
It's
like a lot of the
neutral.
effects. There's a lot of cool scenes. I'd put it above neutral.
Yeah,
I wouldn't... a 6.
I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really go for it either. I think it's just maybe a neutral. I think I want to give it a 5.
Yeah. I'll give it a 6.
Maybe a 6
I think,
for that one scene.
I think it's above average. A lot of the scenes, that one especially, though, I'm glad you like that scene, because that's one of my favorite ones, because it's just so... It happens quick, and it just really hits you. It just... it looks so good and just so, I don't know the word for it, but it's really well done. Like, that scene just really hits.
Right? I don't know that they could pull that scene off in modern day cinema. They would have to use too much CG and it would look too
I was
fake.
gonna say they would.
You
Yeah,
get to
it
that like
wouldn't look
uncanny
real
valley
enough.
point where they try really hard, but it just looks like you're watching something CG. Like the whole Black Panther fight at the end of there, where
Yeah.
you're just looking at CG characters the whole time.
That's the thing. It's so. I don't know why it went away, but a lot of in-camera effects, like there's a scene in a movie, and I forget what movie it is, but there's one movie out there where they have little people in a room, not dwarfs, like little people, like action figure size, just miniature little people, and they're like moving around on the floor around just normal sized people also standing in the room. And the way they did it is they had the room here in front of the camera, and then they cut out most of the floor and wall, and then like 50 feet behind them and down a story was another room built to larger scale with normal sized people moving around. And the larger scale stage was set from this perspective to line up perfectly with the room that's in front of the camera.
Jesus.
Like, they made the floorboards extra huge so that they would match the normal size ones. Like, all that effort just to get that one effect in that one scene.
Jesus.
No movie today would go through that amount of effort to do anything practically in camera. They'd say, fuck it, we'll CG it, fix it in post, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's why I love practical so much, because that level of just effort and care that goes into making a single scene,
Right.
it always looks so good. Like, you can never recapture that look with CG, no matter how good the CG or the computer power is. It's just not the same.
Right.
That's why I'll always go back to movies like Dolls, or The First Nightmare, or The Blob, or any of those kinds of things, because there is no CG. It's all practical. It has to be. That's all they have. And it's always entertaining. It always looks good.
Yes.
So I think that's why this movie, for me, even though the story's not great, I'm still going to put it above average, because there's still just a bunch of scenes that just look really good.
Mm-hmm.
And just, that always impresses me. I have a good time seeing that kind of stuff. So not as good as the first, but I don't know. I still think it's an enjoyable watch. I still like it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all one and done for me, but I'd go back and watch the first Nightmare again.
Yeah. That one has so many scenes that are good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because the title said Wes Craven came up with the story and wrote it, but someone else directed it.
He was the writer, and then he
there were other
the screenplay.
There were other people, in that same category, but
and then he was executive producer too.
So,
but he wasn't the director.
Yeah, I wonder.
I think the only other one he directed was New Nightmare, which is like the 6th or 7th movie. Yeah, I think this Dream one is the start of the Dream trilogy. There's those 3, and I think the next movie is New Nightmare, so it's the 6th one. But, yeah. So, there you go. There's still a lot of practical effects, a lot of fun scenes. The story suffers a bit, definitely not as good as the first. But, if you like old school, just practical effects, it's worth watching just to see some of the stuff they pull off. And, yeah, I think that's all we have for Nightmare on Elm Street. So, we'll see you for an entirely different movie tomorrow. Okay, bye.